We do start our show, though, with unfortunate news out of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark announced today that she will miss both the three-point contest and the WNBA All-Star Game this upcoming weekend in Indiana after re-aggravating a groin injury in that final minute of Tuesday's win over the Connecticut Sun. Clark had missed 4 games and the Commissioner's Cup final with that groin injury earlier this month, and now will be out for this weekend's festivities, which really stinks for fans. But you know that if there was any way that
Adam Silver just witnessed the WNBA's Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark, officially pull out of the All-Star weekend due to yet another injury. And the timing couldn't be more disastrous. With the league teetering on the edge of a potential lockout and CBA negotiations unraveling fast, Clark's absence from the biggest event of the season has sent shockwaves through NBA leadership. This isn't just about one player missing a game, it's a glaring red flag at the worst possible moment. Clark announced Thursday she won't participate in Saturday's All-Star Game or Friday's three-point contest after aggravating a right groin injury earlier in the week. But here's the alarming part. This all comes right in the heart of collective bargaining talks that could determine whether there's even a 2026 WNBA season. The silence and inaction from those tasked with protecting their biggest asset are not just risky, they are catastrophic. And Adam Silver has every reason to be deeply concerned.
I'll leave the specific question about the foul to my colleague, Commissioner Engelbert. I mean, other than as a fan, obviously, you know, it's nothing new in basketball that there's sort of welcome to the league moments, especially for heralded rookies. But of course, I want to see Caitlin treated fairly.
Adam Silver once clearly said, "Of course, I want to see Caitlin treated fairly and appropriately in the league." But now, seeing the WNBA's biggest star sidelined from its premier event due to what looks like injury mismanagement sends an undeniable signal. Something is seriously wrong. When the commissioner of your partner league starts publicly voicing concerns about how players are being treated, it's not just a casual comment, it's a strategic warning. A red flag has been raised, and ignoring it could have long-term consequences.
Out there, she would be. Shortly before the show, Clark released this statement through the Fever's social media account saying that she's so excited for Indiana to host WNBA All-Star this weekend, and that she says she knows that this is going to be the best All-Star yet. But she does go on to say how incredibly sad and, quote, disappointed she will not be able to participate, adding, quote, "I have to rest my body. I'll still be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for all of the action. I'm looking forward to helping Sandy coach our team."
The timing of Caitlin Clark's injury announcement couldn't be more disastrous for the WNBA. Just as the league stands at a critical turning point, with rising viewership, historic media deals, and ongoing CBA negotiations, its biggest star is now sidelined due to an injury that many argue was entirely preventable. This isn't just unfortunate, it's a glaring indictment of how poorly the league has protected its most valuable asset. Someone needs to answer for this. Because when leadership fails to act, the consequences ripple far beyond one missed game. They jeopardize the future of the entire league. Cathy Engelbert has consistently failed in her most important duty as WNBA commissioner, protecting the league's most valuable asset. Her leadership has been widely criticized, and now even respected sports columnist Christine Brennan is speaking out. Brennan pointed out how Engelbert often struggles to even talk directly about Caitlin Clark. When asked about Caitlin, Engelbert deflects or shifts the conversation, sometimes name-dropping other players like Angel Reese, players who weren't even part of the original question. This isn't just awkward, it's revealing. It shows a lack of focus, professionalism, and awareness during a time when the league desperately needs clarity and strong leadership. When the commissioner can't properly advocate for the star bringing millions of eyes to the game, it's no wonder the league feels directionless.
In terms of the comments, in terms of the way the commissioner, Cathy Engelbert, who I've known and I like, the way she has trouble talking about Caitlin Clark, or if she's asked about Caitlin, then she will say, well, Caitlin and Angel. Well, she wasn't asked about Angel, she was asked about Caitlin. This incredible inability to deal with the facts and to state the obvious. It is astounding to me how Cathy Engelbert doesn't come out after the Marina Mabry hit and say, that's unacceptable, the refs got it wrong. Okay, should have been kicked out then, you weren't.
This is a commissioner who's supposed to be championing and promoting the league's brightest star, yet she can't even bring herself to say Caitlin Clark's name without immediately pivoting to other players. That's not diplomacy, that's a failure of leadership. It's a sign of organizational incompetence at the very top, and the consequences already hitting hard. The numbers don't lie. Nationally televised WNBA games have seen a staggering 55% drop in viewership since Clark's injury. FIBA games on national TV fell from an average of 1.81 million viewers to just 847,000, a massive 53% collapse. That kind of decline doesn't just hurt the league's image, it translates to millions of dollars in lost revenue, missed opportunities, and declining fan engagement. Yet through all of this, Engelbert continues to carry on as if nothing is wrong, refusing to acknowledge the glaring issues. And let's not forget what led us here: abysmal officiating and a complete disregard for player safety. According to kinesiologist Dr. Lucas C. Hafer, there have already been 141 injuries this season in a league that only has 179 active players and a 44-game schedule. That's not just a red flag, that's a full-blown crisis. These statistics should have had Engelbert demanding urgent reforms to officiating and player safety. Instead, she's responding with the rigidity of silk in a storm. Elegant on the surface, but offering zero structural support when it's needed.
The ball handler, there's a grab, there's a hold, there's another grab. I mean, all of those are fouls. Every single one of them. And here, that's a foul, and finally they call.
The officiating in the WNBA has reached such an alarming low that even league legend Rebecca Lobo couldn't stay silent. During a live broadcast, she broke down multiple uncalled fouls in real time, saying, "There's a grab. There's a hold. There's another grab. I mean, all of those are fouls. Every single one of them. And then here, that's a foul. That's a foul." These weren't borderline calls. This was blatant, repeated contact going unpunished, especially against Caitlin Clark. When respected icons of the game are forced to publicly criticize officiating on national television, it's no longer just poor refereeing, it's a systemic breakdown of accountability and standards. And it's not just commentators sounding the alarm. Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White has had to repeatedly speak out about the unacceptable officiating her team is facing. After yet another rough night for Clark, White said, "I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. The disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable." When a head coach starts using words like egregious and disrespect, this isn't about a bad night or sour grapes, it's a direct indictment of leadership. It's a bold statement that the problem is bigger than a missed whistle. It's a failure at the organizational level to uphold fairness, protect players, and maintain the integrity of the game.
Who is played 9 years in Indiana and now on the staff. And that's a live shot now of Caitlin.
The most scathing criticism of WNBA officiating came in the aftermath of the Connecticut Sun game, where Caitlin Clark was once again the target of relentless, unchecked physicality. Following the game, Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White didn't hold back. In a fiery, multi-minute post-game address, she declared, "Everybody's getting better except the officials," directly calling out the referees for completely losing control of the contest. But her frustration wasn't just about one night. It was a broader condemnation of the league's inability to improve officiating standards as a whole. Her words weren't emotional outbursts. They were a pointed, public indictment of a system that continues to fail its players, its teams, and its fans.
And the game is fast now. Things are happening quickly. Everybody's getting better, except the officials. So we gotta find a way to remedy it. I mean, you've heard every coach talk about it, so I don't know what the answer is.
She went on. Every single year, at both the fall and spring league meetings, we raise the same concerns again and again, and yet nothing ever changes. Her words weren't just frustration. They were a reflection of years of ignored warnings and unmet promises.
Or do, I mean, you know, you're speaking out at this point, but anything more that you are doing or you hope to do to engage in the league and addressing these issues with officiating that you've been very vocal with?
Yeah, I mean, I think every year when we have our league meetings in the fall and in the spring, we say the same thing over and over and over. And
that's a head coach openly admitting that the league has been aware of officiating issues for years and yet has failed to take any meaningful action. Under Cathy Engelbert's leadership, as the league has grown in popularity and visibility, the quality of officiating has only declined. The very plays that resulted in Caitlin Clark's current injury serve as clear, undeniable examples of how this negligence has spiraled into a crisis. Here is a clean, powerfully rewritten version of your full paragraph, polished, emotionally charged, and written as one tight block with no spacing between lines. as requested. Marina Mabrey shoved Caitlin Clark to the ground after the whistle, and in real time, officials deemed it only a technical foul. It wasn't until public outcry erupted that the WNBA was forced to upgrade the call to a flagrant 2, an embarrassing reversal that highlighted just how incompetent the officiating has become. Even Clark's brother, Colin, took to social media, saying bluntly, "Make no mistake, this is on the reffing," after watching his sister get injured because the referees failed to manage the game. When a player's own family is publicly calling out officiating, it's no longer frustration, it's desperation from people watching a loved one get hurt while the league stands still. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert's response? Weak at best, arrogant at worst. When asked about mounting complaints, she dismissed them with, "It's interesting how no winning team ever complains about officiating." That's not leadership, that's denial. It's the attitude of someone completely detached from the reality that her league's most important player is being physically punished game after game. The business impact of Engelbert's failures is staggering. In 2024, the WNBA saw 23 nationally televised games cross the million-viewer threshold, and Caitlin Clark featured in all but 3. You have to scroll all the way to number 15 on that list to find a game without Clark. Her presence isn't just boosting ratings, it is the ratings. ESPN saw a 170% jump in viewership this year, going from 454,000 to over 1.2 million viewers. ION, a 133% increase. All of this because of Clark. And yet, the league can't protect her. That negligence is threatening to derail the biggest surge in popularity women's basketball has ever seen. The officiating chaos reached a boiling point in Tuesday's game between the Fever and the Sun. 5 technical fouls, 3 ejections, 2 flagrants, and a complete loss of control. This isn't about one bad game. This is about an entire system that's broken. Officials are operating with zero accountability, and the numbers don't lie. Sportsbooks reported nearly a 50% drop in betting activity on Fever games after Clark's injury. When betting markets react that sharply to one player's absence, you're no longer talking about fandom. You're talking about massive, measurable financial loss. Even NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has publicly voiced concern, calling the attention around Clark healthy for the sport, but also warning that her treatment must be fair and appropriate. That's not a throwaway comment. That's a diplomatic shot across the bow. Fix this, or the NBA might step in. And Clark's not the only one suffering. Kelsey Plum recently exploded in a profanity-laced post-game rant after being roughed up repeatedly without calls, saying, "They just don't call anything." This isn't isolated. This is league-wide chaos. Engelbert's refusal to act, even as players and coaches demand consistency, shows how detached league leadership has become. The same foul isn't called the same way on both ends, and what's called in the first quarter isn't called in the fourth. That's not competition. That's confusion. Now, as the WNBA descends on Indianapolis for All-Star Weekend, Clark's face is plastered on banners, hotel walls, and airport terminals, but she won't be on the court. Her city, her team, her weekend, and she's sitting because the league failed to protect her. And it gets worse. The WNBA's collective bargaining agreement expires October 31st, 2025, and the Players' Union is already bracing for a work stoppage if major changes aren't made. How can meaningful negotiations even begin when your biggest star is being sidelined by preventable injuries? Clark didn't miss a game in college. She didn't miss a game in her rookie start. But under the WNBA's watch, she's already been forced out twice, once with a left quad issue, then with a left groin injury. That's no coincidence. That's a result of relentless physical abuse and negligent oversight. Her return game? A massive 2.2 million viewers, peaking at 2.8 million, an audience spike of 76% over last year's ABC average. This is what's at stake: real money, real growth, real legacy. And Engelbert is fumbling it. Even veteran sports journalists like Christine Brennan have said it plainly. The league must do more to promote and protect its biggest star. When respected voices are calling out the commissioner on the record, that's no longer media pressure, it's a referendum on failed leadership. The situation is so dire that fans have started petitions, demanding officiating reforms, citing missed calls and dangerous play in Fever games since Clark arrived. That's not standard fan feedback, that's a grassroots revolt. Analyst Rachel Demeter even warned that Clark's injuries are migrating across her body, from quad to groin, suggesting deeper biomechanical issues caused by repeated, unchecked contact. You're not just risking her season, you're risking her career. And the stakes extend far beyond the WNBA. Every one of the top 10 most watched WNBA games since 2002 happened this year, and every one of them featured Caitlin Clark. This is a once-in-a-generation star fueling once-in-a-generation growth. And the league is squandering it through avoidable failures. Her Iowa games shattered records. 12.3 million viewers for her college finale, 14.2 million for the Final Four, the most watched basketball game on ESPN, period. She is the engine. She is the future. And Engelbert's leadership is dragging that future into crisis. The All-Star Weekend, ironically, is the perfect snapshot of everything that's gone wrong. Clark is the face of the league, the draw of the event, the billboard on every corner, and she's absent. Not because of a freak accident, but because the very people tasked with protecting her didn't do their jobs. Now layer in international opportunities. With this kind of mistreatment, why wouldn't top players consider overseas leagues that pay better and protect better? The WNBA's global trajectory now depends on whether it can keep its brightest star healthy, and so far, it's failing. The most damning part? This could have all been avoided. Salaried officials, proper training, consistent enforcement of rules, basic professional standards would have prevented this. Instead, the league relies on part-time refs who split their time with college basketball and get paid per game. That's not sustainable. That's not serious. Now Clark is sidelined for the All-Star game in her home state, and Adam Silver's warnings are echoing louder than ever. His not offering advice, his issuing an ultimatum. Fix this before everything falls apart. The WNBA is on the brink. And it's because the one person responsible for steering the ship has no clue how to hold the wheel. Fix the officiating. Protect your stars. Or lose everything you've built. Like and subscribe for more hard truths.